Hey everybody, today is a special day because I've got my friend Scott Donnell on, and Scott is an extraordinary inventor, entrepreneur. He created a device that I love called the HAPEE, and many of you have seen me wear this device around. You're always like, what's around your chest, Regan? And what is that thing? Sometimes I'll put it on my head. My wife has asked me not to wear it on my head when I go out in public, so I try to respect her wishes, but the Hapbee is a great device that you guys are going to learn how you can upgrade your mood, upgrade your focus, your energy levels with just one little device. And there's a lot of biohacking devices out there. I've got a graveyard of them at my house, and so a lot of them just don't make the cut. This is one that has some serious science behind it. So today you're going to learn some of the new innovations that literally will be front stage in the future of medicine. And so, Scott, welcome to the show.
Yeah, glad to be here. Thanks, Regan. This is awesome.
So fun to talk about this. So Hapbee is basically a device that I've used for quite some time. I think it was first introduced to me at Genius Network, or maybe it was Mindshare or Strategic Coach somewhere. And it's just been a phenomenal game changer for me. But why don't you talk about the science and how you actually learned about this technology?
Well, for starters, the good news is now we have a pad that people can sleep on or sit on, so you don't have to wear anything around your neck so that your wife can let you go in public now. Yeah, we had to solve the style problem. And so some people just don't want to wear the collar, we call it. But now the pad is a very, very simple. It's the size of like it could go under your pillow, right? And people can take it in the car. They can go sit on the couch with it, behind your back on the work chair if your back is sore, on a flight if you want to sleep better and get some good rest. So yeah, we've kind of solved the style issue, but that's my world, is find ways to make it easier for people to live, to feel better, to engage with other people, and really choose how you feel, which is kind of the mission of Hapbee from the beginning. So it's been a wild ride, I'll tell you that. Bringing a new technology to the world it's no easy task. But this technology has been in the works for over 20 years. There's about $80 million put into it. There's 40 patents now on it. Wow. And it started with our parent company out of Seattle called Emulate Therapeutics. And what they invented was a way to record the magnetic signature of a drug molecule, of a compound. And I think the first one they ever tried was like a shot of whiskey. And they wanted to see, it's kind of a behind the scenes story. I don't think I've ever told anyone this. They basically wanted to see, could you give someone a nice buzz, the feeling of a couple shots, by playing a signal to them instead of having them drink anything. And so the scientists and the engineers behind it, they recorded a whiskey and they played it back, and everybody felt a nice, relaxing buzz from it. And then you turn it off, 15 minutes later, you're back to normal. So, and you pass a drug test, there's nothing in your body, there's no harmful toxins or chemicals.
Wow.
And it was this it was a bunch of nerds in a basement, and that was their way to test the tech. So they immediately went into working on some of the major medical issues. Glioblastoma cancer, brain tumors, was the first thing they went into for the business. And so I invested in this company way back in 2008. And they've been building under wraps and getting the patents and going through FDA for all the medical indications. Now they're working on pain, working on mental illness stuff such as PTSD and things of the like. Long story short, I went to the board in 2019 and said, hey, you guys, you're taking forever here for the investors. Why are you not going into the consumer world so people can just buy the tech and use it for basic stuff like melatonin for sleep and caffeine to get energy in the morning, or nootropic signals that help them focus or be more productive, or relaxation signals for sore muscles and relief and things like that. And they're like, because we don't know anything about how consumer brands work. And I said, I do. And they said, well, you do it then. So that was about 3.5 years ago. So I said, okay, we raised $10 million, licensed the technology. We built the form factor and the app and the team out, took it public in Toronto. It was a crazy, crazy roller coaster. And so now you have this base case version
There it
1.0
is.
of the Hapbee product. You can wear it around your head or around your neck. A
Yeah.
lot of people like to do this. They start playing it and then they just put it under their shirt like this.
Yeah.
So then nobody sees it and you can feel good all throughout the day at the click of a button, whatever you want. Our average customer right now is using it 6 hours a day at least.
And there's
So,
no devices that are anywhere near that.
nope.
And this is great because Scott and I have a mutual mentor, and Dan Sullivan, who's been on the show several times. And anytime he's teaching, he's got his Hapee device on.
Yeah, he said he's at 20 hours a day right now.
Is he
And
in
he's
20 hours?
20 hours a day, and he has saved thousands of pills. No more, drinking or prescriptions. He saved tons of calories, like, because he uses this to get the reaction he needs instead of having to drink something or swallow something or inject something. And we all know that there's a lot of benefit to certain things like that. Like I would put peptides in the killer win category of something to inject. But there's a lot of pills out there and there's a lot of drinks out there that people, coffee and alcohol are one of the biggest ones, smoking cigarettes, taking gummies. There's a bunch of things people go to that are not healthy for them long term. And if you can get the feeling at the click of a button without any toxicological side effects, that's a win in my boat. So that's why we started it. The quick 30-second version on the tech, it's not going to be 30 seconds. I lied. The technology, I'll take a minute and explain it because it's really interesting. We used a naval technology to get our signals. And the Navy has these devices called these magnetometers, and they look like a propane tank, and they basically have them all up and down the coast. And what they are is they're the world's most powerful recording device for magnetic signatures. So like the Navy uses them to see where all the nuclear subs are throughout the Pacific and where the fighter pilots are coming and what, patterns they're flying. And it's a great way for, to use for defense. Well, our scientists, we've had over a dozen PhDs and geniuses be working on this in the basement for 15 years. Our chief of science, Dr. Kenneth Ferguson, was the inventor of Cialis, just to give you an idea of the caliber of these individuals. They said, this technology, it is the world's most powerful recording device. I wonder if it could record at a molecular level. So instead of listening out, what if it could listen in at the subatomic level of a molecule, a drug molecule? And could we get a reading and see if that actually impacts a living being, algae, animals, humans? Could it apply? And so that's what they really went to work on, was to create what we call the SQUID now, these superconducting quantum interference devices that can record a compound, a drug molecule in liquid form. So it's in solvated solution. You can put it down inside these propanks now, and it spits out a frequency, spits out a reading. And what they found is that if you play that back over time, a time domain series, like if I play it on you for a minute, then the specific recording makes your receptor sites in your body start to feel like, hey, I think I have melatonin in me right now. And it triggers the receptor sites and causes the cascade of events similar to a melatonin in your body, or drinking caffeine, or we've done it with nicotine or CBD or things like that. Theobromine, which is the stimulant in chocolate. Yeah. Adenosine, which is the thing that makes you yawn in your body. So now we're realizing, okay, there's an incredible consumer application here where you use the technology, you play the signals that we have through the app, you just start playing, and within a few minutes, you start to feel the sensation of what you want to feel. So instead of calling it melatonin, caffeine, and the like, we just call it alert, focus, relax, sleep, right? So with the sleep signals, for instance, we create blends now where we're putting adenosine and melatonin signatures together to help people get into deeper REM, to get longer night sleep, to fall asleep faster. We did an Oura Ring study with a bunch of our customers and patients, and it was like 80 people, and the average person was increasing their deep REM 14% just by placing it under their pillow. And they were
Wow.
falling asleep faster. The latency was lower, less movement, better sleep scores. Their Oura rings were going up 10 points average, at least. Some people, it was a precipitous or a huge exponential incline in how they were able to sleep better. So that's why we're doing the pad now, right? Not just for style, but the pad is this simple, it's like 18 inches by 24 inches. You can roll it up. It's like half a pound. You can throw it in your carry-on or in your car. It's half the price too of the necklace. Like, it's so cheap to make. So we can get it out, sub 200, it's like 199 bucks.
Wow.
And you can
I'm
make
so glad. My wife is going to be really happy too.
Yeah, that took a long time. It took us a year and a half to get the patents, manufacturing, the design right. We really wanted to make it one click on. You don't even have to hook it up to the app. You just go, click and go, and you've got your sleep signal playing, and you can change it if you want to by hooking it up to the app and switching it out for alert, productivity, focus, creativity is my favorite signal.
Yeah.
I use it whenever I'm doing my deep work.
Yeah.
I throw on a specific blend, which is a nootropic and a creative calming agent compound that allows me to get right into my flow, right? But everybody has a different use case. 2/3 of our customers just love it for sleep. They love it for like relaxing in front of a show at night. They throw it on. They will wear it under their pillow at night. They just really, really need it for that use case to reduce their pain point. And then the other third of people absolutely love like the focus, the energy lift. And about a third of the people kind of use it. They use it at all of it. They love the sleep, but they also love the energy, the alert, the creativity, productivity, focus time.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's also some fun ones in there. I forgot. This is actually our lower use case, but when people find out what we did, like there's like chill and happy as well. So people, when they're at a party or they're hanging out watching a movie, they're getting the feeling of like an alcohol signal or like an endocannabinoid trigger that just gives them the feeling of like relaxation and chill.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why those aren't used very much, because I use those all the time. Those are really
that's
fun.
what I was going to say. That's probably the most that I use it. I really enjoy that. And so I think one of the things that you guys can look at this, because our audience, all of you are using peptides, and you guys are doing amazing things, supplements, herbs, nootropics, like Scott mentioned. But beautiful thing is, if you're using epitalin, for example, before you go to bed at night, then put your Hapbee device on sleep, and you're going to just amplify the impact of the peptides, because peptides are just, it's just a molecule. It's just sending sound into the body, and it's binding right on the surface side of the cell, and so it turns on a genetic expression.
That's right.
And all it is it's turning up the volume of, hey, let's reset the circadian rhythms, so let's sleep deeper. Or
That's
for focus, maybe you're using like dihexa, and hey, why don't you turn your Hapbee device on focus when it's time to really get some productive work done? It makes such a big difference instead of relying on pharmaceuticals that have pretty dramatic side effects. Or if you want to feel chill and maybe have a little social anxiety, I know for me, making small talk it used to be brutal, and I've worked really hard over the last decade of my life so that I can go to a party and have small talk conversations that are meaningful and make connections. But the Hapbee device was one of the things that helped me get across that finish line, as well as a peptide called Selenk. So, you can think about ways you can upgrade your biology and your mindsets far easier than what you could 10 years ago or even 5 years ago. And I think this technology is it's just going to expand, and there's so many dimensions to it.
Yeah, man, it's such a complementary wearable to the peptide world. I've seen some incredible strategies being deployed. Like, I'm in the biohacking world, right? Like, we love this. What's the newest tech out there? What can help me be faster on the draw, think quicker, sleep better, be more productive in my life? This is why we built the company, was how can we give people that easy leg up? And it's really cool to watch the stories flying in of how people are using complementary technologies with peptides, with psychedelics, with different, things that they're using throughout their day. I think the more the merrier. And, the more people can stack. I'm a huge fan of stacking.
Yeah.
If it can benefit you without any of, again, without the toxicological side effects. People
Yep.
sometimes stack things with things that really hurt them. There's side effects, there's issues, there's digestive and metabolic problems. You got to be really careful about the potential downsides of certain stacks out there. But that's why we like Hapbee, because there's none of those side effects. It's just give yourself the extra leg up in addition to all the stuff you're doing. There's no one bullet that's going to solve everybody's problems. But there are a few things out there, like what both of us are doing, that are really going to help give you that leg up, especially when you put them together. So yeah, well said, man.
Well, and the interference is sometimes, just drinking socially. It's like you spent so much of your week getting your body healthy and getting to bed on time, eating the right foods, and then it all goes away over the weekend. So your net result of your health is always in the negative. You're always running a little behind. And so trying some of these devices can really optimize your weekend experience without the side effects, without creating more work for yourself. So it's once again, it's a shortcut. It's an innovation that will probably, and you guys have like really cool patents. You've got some great science on it, but how soon do you think this will be, a little more mainstream? I mean, what kind of growth are you seeing? And I know we can only talk about so much right now, but
yeah,
maybe you can share what you can.
I'm deep again in the kind of the future tech world. A lot of my friends, Harpreet, the founder of Oura Ring, Apollo, Muse, what you guys are doing with the peptides, you're the peptide king. Like there's so much of this out there that is starting to hit mainstream. I think so many more people are wanting to take control of their health, and they've been outsourcing it to a doctor for 100 years.
Yep.
And now with kind of with the inception of the ability to hack your own body, to be able to get reports on your own body, right? Like with sleep stats, with glucose monitors, with meditation statistics, you can get results right away and see those results, which builds good habits. And then if you combine that with great things like peptides and different therapies, people are taking way more control of their health than ever before. And that all lends to our favor, because I think now you're starting to see people say, oh yeah, I'm not going to outsource my health to my doctor anymore. I'm going to take more control of this. And so I think Hapbee, I was telling you before, our average member that's using the Hapbee technology is using it 6 hours a day at least.
It's amazing.
So we don't have the marketing reach yet. And the main reason was because it was like a collar, right? Like most people are like, it's a style you have to make. Before we launched the pad, you had to make not just a health decision or a feelings decision that reduces your pain. You had to make a style decision. Yeah. And as much as we thought it was cool, it's like, yeah, if you had to wear the first iPod around your neck, it would not have sold like it did. You can put it in your pocket. That's why the iPod did so well. So we used this learning in the market. We had a lot of early biohackers and first movers and early indicator customers. They all bought Hapbee. They love Hapbee. But now with the sleep pad specifically and some of the future form factors we're working on to kind of put this more into your everyday life, like on a work chair or a car seat or an airplane seat or a blanket, or we're even talking about making it into an article of clothing right now. You could just wear a shirt. That's where the future of this is headed. And so now that we've started to solve, the pad is the first big one. We've solved that style problem. Now you're going to start to see kind of a flood of people coming in. We just launched the sleep pad a couple of weeks ago, and we've already sold thousands. Man, and so people are excited for this. And it was the style decision. So, you got to not just get the science and the tech right. You also have to get the style and the consumer. What was the real issue? Yeah, it was wearing something around your neck. It's like, I'm not taking that to a party. But now that we've solved it, people are like way more on board with it. And the price point is the right price point. And yeah, so it's just been a wild few years of figuring it out. And we're excited where it's headed. We just got to, I guess I can't say this on a public podcast, but we did just get a couple of huge deals for distribution. Great. And it was the moment the sleep pad got created that everyone's like, oh yeah, I want to sell this in 200 stores, right?
Yes.
So we're starting to get those deals coming through too. So people will hear about this a lot more in the near future.
Yeah, and I am, I tend to be privy to some of the new technologies as they're being released, and a lot of them I look at, and it's like 10% maybe are like the functionalities there where we can really go big with this. Sleep is the big one too, because my room already looks like a laboratory. I got the chili pad, I got my like my eye pillow and all the crazy, like every blackout everywhere. So but this will be nice because I do know of another technology where they're putting currents into the room and they're claiming that people get deeper sleep and it can help with sleep apnea and all these things. But that device is thousands of dollars. And so it's like, well, this looks really good, but how practical is that for me to tell my patients there's going to be a device that you're going to set under your bed and it's going to change all your sleep waves. But how are they going to know? And they're going to invest, a
Thousands
fortune.
of dollars. Yeah.
Right. And so this is it's a low barrier of entry, but the beautiful thing about it, having used Hapee for about 3 years, is you can actually feel it. It's not just, and yeah, I'm very susceptible to placebo, and I've got high on my own supply for 20 years. I love the medicine that I use, but I'm actually also very sensitive to things. And so I can tell energetically when things work or when they don't. And the Hapbee device is one of those. It was like, oh, this is really cool. That's why I like it on my forehead, because I actually get a better result when it's on my forehead, even though I look kind of weird.
Yeah, that's how I am too. I wear this for style under my shirt, but I put it on my forehead for the fastest feeling.
Yep.
Because I don't really care as much about style. The brilliant part about the sleep pad is that it's almost twice the surface area that it's hitting. So if it's around your neck, the surface area is not as high on your brain and it's lower on your chest, whereas the pad covers twice the area. So it's covering your head, neck, shoulders, lower back, chest, everything all in one. And so that we've actually seen is increasing the effect just by having the form factor change, right? Because we're still in the early stages of seeing what the technology is doing. And so there's a lot of reasons why the sleep pad is so much more beneficial to people. But you're right, like you have to get it at the right price point. You have to make it just a simple use case. Like a lot of people just want to click it, have it turn on and just start working. Yeah. That's what people want. And so a lot of what I've been focusing on with our team is just make it easy. Like one click on, simple form factor that you could just look at. If you look at the necklace, you're like, what the heck is that? If you look at the pad, you're like, oh, that looks like it helps me feel relaxed, helps me sleep better. It's so easy to understand. And then you just turn it on and it goes. And then you can hook it up to the phone and change the signal if you want to, or put another blend in there if you want. But we just want people to have a really, really easy way to solve a pain point in their life. And sleep is one of the biggest ones. But it's also for people have lower back pain when they're sitting in their work chair too long. People on flights getting nervous, they need to relax. People, when they're driving, they want to be more alert. Like there's just so many easy use cases that this new kind of version 2 of Hapee can do for folks. And yeah, it's, this, man, building a technology like peptides, it's taken peptides a decade for people to really understand it and see the benefits. And then you get enough people that start to say, yep, this is my life now because how much it's helped me. Now it starts to have that sea change, right? Like, have you ever heard of the law of diffusion of innovation? Have you followed these?
No. Tell me about it.
It's probably the best protocol to understand how new innovations and technologies get adopted. You have this bell curve. It's called the law of diffusion of innovation. You have the first 2.5% of people are like those early adopters. I'm the first guy on Kickstarter to buy the new thing, right?
Yep.
Then you have the early indicator, the early folks that are like the next 12%. And then that's when the bell curve starts to explode. And once you kind of cross from the early adopter to this early group, the next group that's not the first buyers, but they really are the ones that start to get out to the whole world, then you start to take off. And then you've got the early majority, then you've got the lagging majority, and then you have like the last movers. And so most new technologies, you can see like there's special events, something special happens with us. It's the sleep pad. It's the pad, not the necklace. that's now jumping us from the early adopter to the early majority part of that bell curve. And so that's really how most innovations and new technologies should look at themselves, is what can we do to move ourselves across these basically like quadrants in the bell curve so that more and more people can hear about it, adopt it, and use it as part of their everyday life.
Yeah, that's so fascinating because, yeah, in medicine, we see it all the time, except medicine, that early adopter is, unless it's like regenerative medicine or peptides, if it's in the pharmaceutical world, it's like 25 to 30 years lagging behind the breakthrough,
That's right.
Hey, I've got this amazing study and it's working every time and it's safe. And then it finally gets adopted about 30 years later when it's almost too late and it's
It's
obsolete.
archaic.
It's
Yeah.
so archaic. Yeah, so slow. Peptides have been around 100 years, insulin being the first peptide ever formulated. And it's just, it's now just barely at that first, you called it the innovation diffusion cycle.
Yeah, the law of innovation, the law of diffusion of innovation.
The law of diffusion of innovation. Okay, I'm going to look. This is fascinating, but yeah. So I think we're still at that like 2.5% of early adopters, which, I think at East West, probably 1% of those are here. And so
yeah, probably.
So yeah, but it's going to take off pretty soon. We're just seeing better and better peptides being out there, and now doctors are learning how to use it properly. So if Scott, I do want to respect your time, but if you look at Hapee, what are some ways that people could go and learn more about it? I know we created a great discount link. I appreciate you and your team doing that for my audience here, but maybe you could tell people where to go, and then I've got a couple final questions for you.
Yeah. So if you want to go to hapbee.com, HAPBEE, Hapbee, because our logo is a B, .com, you can go there and grab one today. And there's a 20% discount code for all of your audience, and just type in East West, lowercase, one word, East West, and you'll get your 20% off for your audience. We'll keep that link up for everyone who listens in here. But you can see on the site, you'll see a lot of the studies. You can see a lot of the testimonials, who's using this, why they're using it. There's a lot of our resources are on there. You can get links to the parent company and studies that are going on all the time. That's the best way to find us. You can also get Hapee. Get Hapbee is what our Instagram and our social handles are, kind of across the spectrum. But yeah, stay tuned, because the sleep pad is really, it's our catalyst for how we're going to be launching all of our future form factors and all of our future signals. You and I were talking before the recording, there's a lot more to come out. It's not just going to help with sleep, focus, productivity, energy, and relaxation. There's a lot more we can do with this technology that's going to go into the actual same form factors that everybody's using. And so there's a lot more coming in the next, 6 to 12 months for Hapee. So if you guys want to follow us, grab a product, join in the fun. There is a subscription if you want to use the full spectrum of blends, but for the first handful that you get with the product, if it's for sleep, for instance, or energy, you just get those one time, you get them forever. And then if people want to basically do like whatever it is, $9 a month or something like that, they can get all 25 of the blends whenever they want.
Yep.
But we wanted to make it easy for people to just get and start using without any of that. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Well, go snag that. It's a very generous discount. Really appreciate that. So I wanted to chat to see if there's anything like research you're doing on groups. We're hosting these phenomenal retreats where we're doing peak state experiences with ketamine, and then the next day we're doing vitamin IVs, regenerative therapies for all of our participants. But what kind of place would you see the Hapee device coming in?
Yeah, I think Hapee is perfect for retreat centers, for biohacking facilities, for longevity. It's a great complement to a lot of the other experiences that a regenerative retreat would give. So I use this actually when I go into the local Optimize or any of like the biohacking facilities. I'll bring Hapee and I'll put it on energy first to get me like basically ready for the people I'm going to meet there. And then I immediately will move it into either a meditative focus blend, or I will go straight into a relax blend. And so that gets my body, my parasympathetic in state. It helps relax my GABA nervous system. and gets me really into a state to be able to, whether I'm doing meditation or sauna or compression, red light, whatever the experience is going to be, or like a peptide or an IV. Those are really where you want to be like relaxed and be able to have, your varicose veins lift. You want to be able to receive, the medicine the right way. This is really how it can complement whatever you're doing throughout the experience.
Man, I think that's amazing. So for those of you who are sign up for the retreat, you may just see a little surprise that we're going to have there. And for those of you who have not yet, make sure you get set up for that. So Scott, this has been amazing. Thanks so much for your time. Thanks for all the work you're doing on. I mean, it's just not this technology. If you guys don't know, Scott is just a serial entrepreneur, just a perpetual inventor. And in our strategic coach community, he's just a leader there. He's always got brilliant insights. So thanks for your generosity and your intelligence. It's been amazing. So
thanks, man. This is awesome. And I'm so thankful for what you guys are doing too. I'm a peptide freak, and I got to get to one of these retreats here pretty quick. It's going to be awesome.
Can't wait. Awesome. Thanks everybody for listening. Share this with your friends, family, loved ones. Let's make the world a happier place.